no matter where you go, no matter what you do, take that Maui style with you. Cause if you ain't Maui styling, you just living on an island. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens, then you will feel brand new again. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Reach out your hand and help each other. Your mother, your father, your sister and brother. There is love in this family. Pick yourself up and get on your feet. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Makena styling, up country styling, Campo styling, Kahanapali styling, Hana styling, Waihu styling, Bahia styling, Keanai styling. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Maui styling, Maui styling, don't stop me now. Maui styling.
Aloha! Aloha! Welcome to another M.A.M.A. Presents. You know, M.A.M.A, the Maui Arts and Music Association, is really thrilled to be sitting here with, I think, one of the quintessential spirits of this island's art. You have so much life in your art, and you really have done such a job. Davo, welcome to our show.
Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
honored to be on the show.
Thank you.
And as I said before off camera, Jason and I go back some years, and at least I remember the Dylan concert, and I know I was pretty looped. It seemed like you were in pretty good shape that night.
I was in good shape, but
Yeah.
that was at the Royal Lahaina Tennis Stadium. That was before there was a Maui Arts and Cultural Center. We saw Bob Dylan,
We sure did.
and we met in line. And I
We
think
met
that was
in
an
line.
interesting
We
guy.
had a wonderful
He's
talk
an
and
artist.
exchanged card. Actually, you had a card. I didn't have a card yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you had a card, so I was very impressed. I knew this was a mover and a shaker here
Still
on
moving
Maui.
and shaking.
You sure are.
But as far as the art world goes, what I've appreciated, Davo's art, which you see behind us, and you're going to see some as we go along. How do you describe your art? What genre of art?
I describe it as neo-pop expressionism. Neo meaning new pop, as opposed to maybe like Warhol, who was one of my teachers. And expressionism meaning, even though it is pop art, I do like to be expressive with my brush strokes and my color. And I like to put maybe a little more information into a piece than most pop artists. But generally, pop art is art that refers to popular culture. And of course, as you can see, I love to do icons of our culture.
Right. I see
hope that
behind
explains
me. Yeah, that's really what I mean.
Okay.
Because, you know, lots of artists do different things, you know, and you've really been, it's almost like you take a snapshot. If someone were looking back at the 20th century and saw your art,
Right.
they would get a feeling for the culture of that day. It, like you say, it's icons, and you add a lot of life and color, and somehow, really, when I first saw your stuff, I thought about Andy Warhol, but there's something different, like you call it,
Neo-pop expressionism. And expressionism is really probably the key word, because I don't limit myself, as you can see with my work. I use a little collage, I do a lot of layering, I use different images. Sometimes a painting will look like it's totally collaged, when really it's all just paint on canvas. It's the way I use my silk screens. And of course, silk screen is a big part of my art. In other words, I'll start off with a photograph. I generally do a pen and ink drawing or a graphite, which is a pencil drawing. From that, I will make my silk screen. So I don't very often take an image like directly from the newspaper or a magazine and just make a silk screen. I make it mine by doing a drawing first.
I see.
So all of these pictures behind us, excluding this Elvis.
Right.
And in this one, you can see all the little printer's dots. So that actually came from newsprint, old newsprint, and that's why you can see the little dots.
Oh.
But with all the other ones, you won't notice the dots, and that's because I've taken it from a photograph or a magazine, and I've done an interim drawing of the photograph, and then made my silk screen, which makes the painting.
Oh, I see.
And I hope that I mean, I'm capsulizing it, I'm making it really simple, but that's basically my technique. But I love to paint. You see, Warhol, I noticed, really didn't like to paint. That's why he had so many people working for him. He would tell them what to do. They would actually paint it. He was off at this party or that opening, or, you know, he was a social butterfly, and he loved the money. He didn't mind cashing the checks, but he just assumed somebody else paint them. And if he could have had them sign them, he would have done that too. And that's a fact.
Well, now you've really branched out. I mean, I know you did a whole great series on the Beatles.
Right.
And still
Going.
very popular right
And
now.
still going. That I think I'll be doing a series on the Beatles till the day I die. Because they were the first group. My older brother bought me my first record and my record player, and it happened to be Meet the Beatles.
Oh.
And I still have that album, and I still have the poster from A Hard Day's Night, in which I went to the premiere with
Wow.
all the girls. I mean, I was like one of 10 boys in my local theater. And, you know, I mean, to me, the Beatles, well, for example, when John Lennon passed away, I did a painting of him that day. Well, when George recently passed away, I did 10 paintings in that one day of George Harrison. And I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for, as you said before, the history. Someone needs to record our culture while it's happening. It needs, you know, I realized that at an auction in LA about 10 years ago. And a small painting of Charlie Chaplin was being auctioned off. And it was painted while Chaplin was at his apex of his career, and he was in his little Charlie Chaplin outfit. And that painting went for $20,000. Well, originally the painting probably didn't sell for, you know, $200. But it's a piece of history. It was a good painting, it was well done, but it was painted while Charlie Chaplin was still alive, and it's a piece of Americana. That's when I realized, no, that's what I'm doing right now.
You date them, and you were mentioning about dating.
I date, especially if it's something like when JFK Jr. died, or you know,
Harrison, you mentioned.
Harrison, even 9/11. I was taking things right off the internet and making my screens and doing paintings of the World Trade Towers the day that they collapsed. those are all signed and dated proudly on the front. I mean, it was really a cathartic thing because I knew I had to do it. And I felt in a way I was lucky because I was able to work through a lot of the anguish that, you know, people would just look at the screen and they go, what can you do? This is just too horrible to imagine. Well, I just immersed myself in my painting. And I painted 10 paintings that day, and 5 of which I sent to New York, and every dime of those went to the Red Cross. And then some of them were auctioned off here for the Red Cross. And there's only one in my show, actually, that was done on 9/11.
I'm curious because, I guess because I'm curious. When I see your art, I see, you know, lots of different things. You're wearing a Grammy shirt.
Right. Just got back.
You went
last
to the
week.
Grammys.
Every year
Really?
since 1996.
Wow.
Yeah. Music Cares, which is the fundraising arm of the Grammys. A lady came in one day at the gallery when we just opened 7 years ago. I still remember her name. She's no longer with the Grammy people, but anyway, she came in and she saw that I was working on a Beatles painting, and she said, would you mind donating something to Music Cares that helps musicians that are in trouble with AIDS or financial problems or whatever? So anyway, I said I'd be glad to. Well, it turns out that I have donated so much art to Music Cares that I'm kind of like on their list. So every year they ask me to return, and this year I did Billy Joel, and it was a fabulous concert. And then of course the Grammys. Bob Dylan unfortunately didn't win. I was really rooting for him, best album and best song, because he's my all-time
Is he?
idol. Oh yeah, I think Dylan's the greatest. I really do.
Do you have any Dylan pieces to look on here?
Could I show you one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We're going to let him go and let him come back.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Yeah, this is one of my favorite paintings.
He's going to come back with a Bob Dylan piece. While he's gone, let's talk a lot about him. Oh, there he is. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, look, sign in the back.
You know, can I put it like,
Oh,
now
sure.
if I put it there, we won't be able to see you.
Oh, that's all right. I can
Maybe,
put my head over like
Ariel,
I'm like Kilroy.
if we put it like this, is that good?
That's good.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, this painting is called Elvis the Pelvis, Bob the Brain. And the reason is because Elvis did give rock and roll its sexual energy. I mean, he was the original bad boy. First of all, he was doing that nasty black music, that rock and roll, you know. And it was Alan Freed, who incidentally, at this year's Grammys, he got the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I was there with Lin Shu and saw his son accept that award, and that was truly an honor to be there because Alan Freed, as you know,
Oh, yeah.
put rock and roll on the map.
He's the man.
So basically the reason, if you look closely, there are 5 Elvis Presleys in this painting. There's one here, there's it's one here, one here, one here, and 2 more on that end. And then I've mingled in Bob Dylan so that really, essentially at first, all you see is Dylan. Because it really is primarily a Bob Dylan painting, okay? And I actually put even Bob's father and mother, Maeve and
You know Bob's fathers and
Abe and Mabel Zimmerman. Yeah. This painting, I painted this painting for Bob Dylan. And Al Littman, my good friend Al Littman, who went to high school and to Jewish summer camp with him, we tried to get it to him at the concert, long story short. And anyway, Bob was a little too busy, so he didn't get it. So now this remains in my private collection. So. But thank you for letting me show it.
Elvis the Pelvis and Bob
the Brain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, isn't this stuff fun? I like that it's fun. One of the things that I have learned over time in my life is the art that I seem to like best is the stuff that just makes me happy. Makes me happy. Let's get it back. What inspired you to start doing art? I mean, you have your own sort of genre.
Right.
What got you into it all?
Well, my mother was very supportive of my creative side. You know, I had as I said, my older brother, he always made sure I had a baseball bat and a glove and a football and a basketball, and he made sure that I had my sports. But my mom always said, go and take your paints and paint.
Yeah.
I think she knew that I had a little bit of a creative urge. And so by the time I got into high school, I really showed some potential to my art teachers, and they were very good with me. And then, of course, I did take some classes in college. But that was really a bad experience. After having such wonderful teachers in high school, I had some real authoritarian male teachers that I really rebelled against. So I dropped out of classes in college.
And I've seen some of your art that isn't pop.
Right.
When did you make that switch over?
Well, I actually came to the islands because I wanted to paint more like Paul Gauguin, in a Gauguin-esque island kind of a style. And I did go throughout the South Pacific. I was in Tahiti and Samoa, Tonga, and all throughout Micronesia, painting. But when I got back, I had spent some time with a lady who has apartments in New York. I didn't know it at the time, and I didn't know she worked for CNN. I didn't know she worked in the World Trade Tower. I just knew her as a lady who, was good with the camera, and we had a good time together. Anyway, due to a surfing accident, I couldn't be a waiter. I couldn't do my job. So she said, why don't you come and stay with me in New York? I have an excellent chiropractor. And to make a long story very short, because of that surfing accident, and through her, I met Andy Warhol, Jasper Johns, Robert Rauschenberg at different parties. She actually took me to Warhol's factory.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, Barbara, when I get back to Maui, I'm gonna try painting like Warhol, basically. And so I got back, and the first thing I did was I painted my very favorite subject, and she still is, and that's Marilyn Monroe. And I'm still painting her, and Marilyn's been very good to me.
Baseball been very, very good.
Very, very, very
Marilyn has been very, very good.
And I got to tell you, Jason, when I'm in LA, I take a rose and I put it in her hair. I do. And I enjoy doing it. And I always feel she says, Davo, I'm glad you're still painting me. Don't stop. And don't stop bringing the roses. Oh, you're going to love this. Lynn knows, when I was just there at the Musicaires dinner, one of the people who comes every year is Hugh Hefner. And I got to talking to Hugh Hefner with his, the blonde bombshell girlfriend. I mean, it's really true. It's amazing. But I told him, first of all, he said he had seen my art, and he said he liked it. I said, I got to tell you about this Marilyn that I'm working on, because I got a black and white photo of Marilyn doing the same nude pose that she does in the 1953 Playboy magazine, which is the very first centerfold. Okay,
Right.
so that's Hugh Hefner's magazine. And I'm telling him about this photo because she's Norma Jean Baker still. And it's done by a photographer in San Diego, not the one in Hollywood that did the color. Okay. He's totally intrigued. I said, you know what? I'll make a painting. How can I get it to you? He gave me his card and he said, bring it by the mansion next time you're here. But even more than that, you know what he told me? He bought the crypt on top of Marilyn Monroe.
What does that mean?
That means, yes, it's like a joke, but he will be on top of Marilyn for eternity. But it's true. It's true.
Oh, you mean he bought the actual...
He bought the actual crypt, you know, because it's in the wall. And I would go there year after year and put that rose. And I always thought, who owns this crypt? Well, it turns out it was some dentist or a doctor that sold it to Hugh Hefner. And he will be
buried on top of Marilyn Monroe.
For eternity. And there's a little trivia.
There's
It's
a
a little
little
bit
trivia for
off
you.
the art sector.
Well, that's good. That's sort of culture. That's really funny.
I know. This is one of the things I love about being a pop artist is all of this intrigue. And I mean, to me, to a lot of people, it's a bunch of BS, and it probably is. I mean, I live on Maui. We know what really counts is our Hawaiian land and Hawaii, you know, the Hawaiiana. But there's another side of me that, let's face it, I'm in the glitz, I'm in the glamour business, and I still like it. It must be that teenager, that autograph hound. I think there's a little bit of it in all of us, and I just let it go.
Well, I know. Like I say, your art represents and feels fun. And fun is really, you know, touches my heart. I like to think you paint outside the lines. You're not, some people paint, you know, for an exact photograph kind of style. Everyone's got, your stuff is just fun, and it really warms our hearts and makes us appreciate, makes me appreciate art and the, I don't want to say looseness, but I mean, you combine, just because you like I'm looking here, you can't see it because I'm looking. But it's like, those images remind me of a whole period in time, and then your choices of color, you know, just sort of bring things out differently. You look at it, I don't know, it just sort of holds me into a period of time, brings back
Makes you
good
feel good?
memories.
Makes you
Yeah.
feel good? I mean, come on, let's face it, we're both old hippies. Okay, I'm proud of it. Peace and love, the world needs more of it. Okay, I'm proud of it. I'm not proud of all the things that we did back in those days, but let's face it, we did some good things. And you're right. I think three things that you caught about my art. Fun. There's a lot of imperfections in it. I don't strive for perfection. You're absolutely right.
You like being my TV show.
Exactly. Perfection is for God. We're down here and, you know, we're supposed to have fun if we can. I'm sure God wants us to have fun, first of all. I really do. I do. And I feel that we're privileged to live on this little island out here in the middle of the Pacific. I think we all, you know, and if you don't thank God every day that you live here, then go live in LA. Let me tell you, I visit there every year because of the Grammys, and unfortunately I go back a few other times for other business, but the best part of leaving Maui is knowing you're coming home. We all know that. And so even though I do all these, quotes, famous people that are mostly mainland icons, I do want to say that I'm very, very happy to say that I'm going to start doing more Hawaiian icons. I'm starting with Duke Kahanamoku because of my love of surfing, and he was one of the greatest gentleman sports figures that the world has ever known. And he's Hawaiian, and he's pure Hawaiian. And
That's
I'm
great.
And his stamp will be released August 24th on Waikiki Beach, and I definitely plan on doing a piece and somehow getting it to the Duke Kahanamoku Foundation, and all of the money will go to help the foundation. I'm not interested in making any money. But I also want to do other Hawaiian. I want to do the royalty, Queen,
That's a great
different
thing.
queens, you know, Princess Kailani. I really want to do that.
That's really a nice way for Hawaiian culture to really be embraced and broadly get out there. That's great. That's wonderful.
You like that idea?
Oh, very much.
All right. Makes me feel good.
Let me ask a question, because I'm
Sure.
sitting here and I'm
Okay.
thinking, you know, all kinds of art has different kinds of collectors. Have you found sort of a profile of the people that buy your art?
Absolutely not. It amazes me.
Yeah.
I have, well, first of all, most of my icons are so internationally known. I mean, you could get somebody in from France that just loves Madonna or just loves Marilyn Monroe. You could get children in that I can't believe they even know of the Beatles. Not only do they know of them, they know the words of their songs, and their parents are more than willing to get them a painting of the Beatles for their room. You know, I'm just, it really amazes me the real cross section of people that appreciate my art, and that's what I like about it. I mean, you know, I've learned to never judge who comes in the door and think, well, they wouldn't like my art, because it surprises me all the time.
Yeah, and you mentioned about different celebrity
Right.
collectors.
Collectors, right.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones,
Oh, really?
who every time I run into him, he goes, hey man, love that painting.
Do they ever get paintings of themselves?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Quincy's got one. Dionne Warwick commissioned me to do one of Gladys Knight, and Gladys Knight and I talked at a dinner one night, and she just loves the one. The one that I did for her was 23 karat gold,
Wow.
all 23 karat gold leaf on canvas, and it was just her with all of her grandchildren.
I just was thinking.
No pips.
23 or 24? That's interesting when you said 23 karat.
I think it says on the little packet 23 karat. Believe it or
I have
not.
a friend who always talks about
It's
gold.
not pure, you know, but it's darn close.
23 carats. Yeah. What's up, Jack?
Oh, that's Bugs Bunny. Well, yeah. Well, some people, when I was a kid, you know, I was accused of being Bugs Bunny with these teeth. But
I got the same.
yeah.
Ah.
Hey, what's up, Doc? So anyway, yeah, I like it that so many different types of people like my work. And oh, can I mention that one of my really proud moments, and I didn't even realize it until it happened, but when I opened the paper and saw that the Cardin Academy had been vandalized, and I just called Marjorie and I said, Marjorie, come on down. I've got two Martin Luther Kings. Take your pick, whichever you want for the kids. And she said, that'd be great. And just getting the lays from those children and seeing that painting of Martin Luther King up in that little classroom there in Lahaina, that is a big payoff. I mean, that's one of the things I like about being an artist. You know, you can go ahead and give, and it feels good, and you know people are going to appreciate it.
And the other part of that is being an artist on Maui.
Yeah.
You get to really know in this small community, there's a
Right.
real warmth and such a heart thing going on.
Exactly. Don't you love going to the post office and they know who you are? You get in the grocery store and they know you are. I love that. I couldn't live in a place like LA where not only does nobody know each other, they drive around with their windows rolled up, they're all talking on cell phones. I mean, there's millions of people that don't know each other. And here we've got a few thousand and everybody knows. You know, if you sneeze on one side of the town, they hear it on the other side.
It's true.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
We're here to stay.
Yes.
Do you have any feeling for where you want to go with your art? Are you just sort of letting it evolve? Do you have any future visions of things and directions you're changing or any of that kind of stuff?
You know, part of me, see, first of all, I kind of created Davo.
Yeah.
Because my real name's David Sherman, and a lot of my old friends know me still as David Sherman, but I created Davo because Davo fits the pop art. But I thought, one time I thought, now what if I wanted to be a surrealist artist? Because I can do surrealism too. And I thought, what if I decided I wanted to walk around with a cape and a cane and have a mustache like Salvador Dali and just call myself Salvador Davo? I mean, why can't I change again? You know? And I've thought about that, but I'm pretty happy being a neo-pop expressionist right now. But you never know. You never know. I might go back to painting like Gauguin on some little island in the South Pacific. Well, wait a minute. I already live on a little. The best.
It is really a great place.
Now, I know that you've spent a lot of time in New York, and I love to tell New Yorkers, my two favorite islands are Manhattan and Maui.
Yeah.
And as you know, Jason, it's easy to be happy on Maui and not be really rich, but it would be better to be pretty rich to be happy on Manhattan.
Oh, in Manhattan?
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan, if you don't have any money, you're in
You're
trouble.
in deep trouble, exactly. But
Here.
over here, go down to the beach.
That's right.
Right.
Always nice.
Hang loose.
Tons of papaya and guava. You can really survive.
That's right. That's right.
But,
And you don't have to worry about freezing even in January.
no, I know.
Yeah.
A little Vogue. I just realized Vogue is really voice of God, I heard.
Whoa! I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You see the thing go up and go, oh, there's God speaking.
I think I hear a little Vogue right now.
That's right.
He's saying,
What is he saying?
he's actually saying that I should show you something. Something in my flipper here.
Okay.
I call this the flipper.
the flipper.
Don't move. I'm going to show you
Right.
something. I call this the flipper. And the reason I call it the flipper is pretty obvious. We can flip. But what I wanted to show you is something that I told you I wanted to give you this. And you can cut this out if you want.
Right.
Okay, but I told you I wanted to give you this, and I'm going to do it. And if you want to cut it out, you can. But this is one painting that I'm very proud of, and that is for you and Ariel.
Well, thank you.
And that is
Oh, that's JFK.
JFK Jr., and if you'll notice, it's signed 7/17/99. So this is a good example of that historic kind of painting that I really like to do. And interestingly enough, Carolyn, who is now retired, she was the head librarian here in Little Lahaina. Remember Carolyn?
Sure.
One day I was over there judging an art class, and somebody had dropped off some old magazines, and just to donate to the library. And I'm taking a break from judging this art contest, and I look down and I see that this is a magazine about the assassination of President Kennedy. And I said, Carolyn, could I just borrow this? She said, Davo, take it. I know you'll do something good with it. And I took it home and I put it on my shelf. And it was months later that this happened. And when I pulled that magazine out, there was little JFK Jr. on the back page saluting. So it's a good example of how being a pop artist, material comes to you from a number of different sources. My job is to use it and to try to use it sensitively so that we have a you know, something lasting.
I will hang this proudly
That's for
in my
you.
house. Thank you,
You and
very,
Ariel.
very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Really. You know, I think, in the same breath, I would love to see people. Boy, this is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Great use of primary colors. And I see it. This is an original. You've got lots of original art here. I know that people like original art.
Right.
That's a great thing. You guys have to come down to the Village Gallery in Dickinson Square. You're going to see some beautiful things here, some fun things.
Everybody knows Lynn Shu's galleries are all fun, and the art is all real art at a reasonable price too. That's what I love about it. Lynn. She,
Yeah.
you know, her prices are good.
It's nice, it's available,
Exactly.
you know. Some of these artists, art galleries around here are very exclusive.
Exactly.
Exclusive.
And as you know, somebody can find something in our galleries, you know.
It's great.
And most of my paintings are originals, but because I work with silk screens,
Right.
I'm working a lot faster than some people. I'm not spending weeks or months on an original. So that's why my paintings are always, even though I painted them, a machine never touched them outside of maybe making the paper. They're all signed, they're all dated, and I'll be glad to dedicate a piece to you. And I also love to do commissions. If anybody wants a commissioned portrait, or they have
You
a,
could put them into pop art.
I can
That's
do,
right.
I can do anything they want.
Wow.
And I
So
love
that would
commissions.
be-
Some artists don't like commissions. I love commissions.
Fun. You know, I would love someday, your choice,
Okay.
to explore with you. Do you ever share with people the process of what you do? Have you done that, Ron?
Well, I used to teach
Oh.
years ago, but right now, every April, with Village Galleries, we have something called the Celebration of the Arts out at the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
And I have committed myself to at least one day of classes every April during the Celebration of the Arts. At least one, sometimes more. So if anybody wants to learn the process from me, I mean, anybody can get a book on it in the library, it's, you know.
Yeah, but you have your own style.
Well,
You see.
and I'm very open about it. There are no secrets. I'm not worried about somebody ripping me off or anything like that. You know what I mean? I usually love teaching those classes because it ends up being a lot of kids, and it's just wonderful to because with the screens, a kid that ordinarily can barely finger paint can walk away with a bit of, you know, it's funny to see them walking through the library and they've got a finished painting of Marilyn Monroe or Elvis, and their parents are going, "You painted that?" So it's kind of fun.
You know, I would like to do something for you guys as well as me, and that is bring in my wonderful friend and co-hostess, Ariel, because
I would
know
love that.
that on-screen hug would be just ideal.
Well, you know, you're the greatest, but she's a hell of a lot cuter.
She's way cuter.
She's a beautiful lady. She's a beautiful lady.
She's,
Here she comes.
I'm gonna switch places.
I see her.
Oh, no, you
what?
stay still. I'm coming behind you.
No.
I'm pulling a Jason.
Can't.
No.
Can't we
This is
get
the
a
Jason.
Oh, good. Oh.
This is the Jason. Mwah.
Oh.
You see?
Isn't he wonderful?
You too.
Oh,
You
thank
too.
you.
Mwah. And isn't he wonderful?
Oh, thank you.
Look at you.
Can I say one thing, Jason? If anybody can come to the Village Gallery while I'm here, okay, and the number, can I just say the number?
Sure, oh, sure.
661-5559. If you
661
5559. That's magical how you did that. How do you do that?
Magic fingers.
Unbelievable.
661.
And you know
Fine.
what? When he does the video, it writes it down on the screen.
This is,
No.
His magic finger does that.
well, I
Isn't
would
that
just,
cool?
if you will call that number before you come into town, if I'm in the gallery, come by. I'll give you, I'll tell you about anything in the gallery, but if you want to know more about my art, let me show you my books of past travels at the Grammys and all that stuff. But even more than that, come when I'm here and you'll get a free poster.
Oh,
How's that?
wow.
That's
Free
a
poster
great
that
offer.
but you have to say Jason and Ariel. Okay,
Can I
that's
say
a get.
Jason or Ariel?
They can even just say Ariel or Jason.
I
Let's make
bet
it
if
easy.
you forget, you could just say, "I saw you on
That will work.
Or you can also say, I love you, Davo, and that'll work out.
Oh, yeah.
You
We're
know,
so glad you came to be with
Thank
us
you.
today,
Thank
you
you, my
beautiful
dear.
man.
Thank you.
Mwah,
My
you do
pleasure.
beautiful work.
My pleasure.
Really a pleasure. Before we get off.
Oh,
I'm
Ariel.
just kidding. Mom.
okay.
Okay. I happen to know about this, but I'm bringing it up because I'm sitting here. See this watch?
Oh,
Tell them the story that you told me.
Okay, well,
Check out this watch, guys. You're gonna really like this. Now this is so fun.
first of all, this year, if you went to the Grammys, and I guess everybody's always heard that, you know, at the Grammys, they give you a bag of goodies, and depending on how big of a star you are, you may even get a car or a, you know, diamond necklace.
Wow.
Well, quite a few of us got these Casio wrist cameras.
Wrist camera.
That's right, and if you aim it, this is the little lens, if you aim it and push this button, I'm taking a picture of you right now, Ari. There we go. And then what you do is you just go back home, plug it into your computer. Actually, you don't even plug it into your computer because it's one of those infrared things.
Oh, really?
I know, I'm not only computer illiterate, I'm beyond that, but this will actually print in color your digital pictures that you took with your wristwatch.
Isn't that amazing? We are really living in a new age.
Now, what a perfect thing for a pop artist, because I don't like to go any place without my little ELF camera, but now even if I forget that, I've got this. But here's an interesting thing. They gave these to people at the Grammys, but then they said, we have to take it back because there's no cameras allowed in the Grammys. So they took it back and they said, we'll give it to you on your way out. Even NSYNC had their wrist cameras confiscated.
Wow.
While they were in the Grammys. Little piece of trivia.
Trivia.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, I just thought it was.
You want one?
I'd love to.
I think you should have one of
I
these.
thought that's a great thing.
Okay.
I like your story about Paul McCartney and Larry King.
Okay. Paul McCartney's new album, if you look at the artwork on it, it's all been done with a Casio wrist camera. We're really plugging this, aren't we?
We are.
I think we ought to
I think we need, right.
You should at least get a free one after this. Okay, we're gonna write Casio.
All right, we'll send
Two free
Send them a tape.
Two free ones. Right.
Two free ones,
Ariel.
one for Ariel. And so, yeah, Paul did the whole CD, all of the artwork is with it, but what was really great is he was on the Larry King show being interviewed, and while he was being interviewed, Paul took a picture of Larry King, and it ended up in the CD artwork. Talk about an instant society, instant art. We could all be, you know, Andy Warhol had said we would all be famous for what, 15 minutes, or isn't that what he said?
Marshall McLuhan.
I thought it was Andy Warhol
Probably
said we'll all be famous for 15
minutes.
I'm convinced we'll all be artists. With all this technology, we can all be artists.
That's exactly right.
And that's okay.
We had an interesting conversation with Lynn, who owns the gallery.
Right.
And I guess when you own a gallery and you have just so many walls, and you know, Lynn is a perfectionist and is really a masterful hanger of shows and things. I like to think that juried art shows are good for what they are. There's so much art, it needs to be applauded whether or not it wins or loses. There's something really special in the doing of it.
Right.
Just like you said.
I agree.
Everyone has that
I totally
in
agree.
them.
Right.
To really put out beautiful and special pieces. And I don't know, I'm so happy that things like this exist, shows like this where we can show all kinds of interesting people, and that artists like you exist who are very open and available and really encouraging people, not standing on some pedestal, but just sharing your love for art. You know,
I always tell people when they say, you know, I can't draw a straight line. That's a classic thing. I go, you don't need to draw a straight. I don't draw a straight line. You know, just do it. That's what the Nike ad says. Just do it. Go get yourself some paints and give it a try. It's great therapy if nothing else.
That is. Well, I know that time is probably running, and we're going to probably be off the air in just a few minutes. But I think I would like to do two things. One, I want to thank you for being here with us.
And I thank you. Both of you, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Anything that you would like to share with our audience? I mean, this is seen around the world, but especially here on M.A.M.A. Anything that you'd like to share that just comes to mind?
From my heart, I'd just like to say I may have blonde hair and I may have blue eyes, and I may come from the mainland, But I think the one thing I'd like to leave everybody with is, let's take care of our Hawaiians, okay? I mean, I do a lot of pop art of different icons, but let's really try to take care of our Hawaiians. They're rarer than diamonds. And we really need to keep our Hawaiian people happy and take care of them. That's my, if I could say, I mean, I didn't come here wanting to bring the mainland here, okay? I really want Maui to stay a Hawaiian island and not become a suburb of LA. I hate to leave on that point, but it's not a downer. It's not a downer.
Well, just in your thoughts of doing more art with Hawaii,
Right.
What a great thing.
Right.
Because that's really, to me, that's the one that will help put the Hawaiian culture into so many places that it had not gotten before. People get to appreciate.
Exactly.
I know, that's really great.
And you're doing your job at that too. And I want to thank you, not only as an artist, but just a fellow Mauian. You're doing a great job. We're all proud of you. You're a real pro. And thank you for having me be here. Great pleasure.
Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you'll join us again. Davo, come see him at the Village Gallery in Lahaina, Dickinson Square. And come see us again, and we hope to see you real soon. Aloha.
Aloha. I would like to ask her to just pick out her favorite painting and tell me why that's her favorite. I'd like to hear.
Oh boy, that's a lot to do.
I would love to see which one you pick,
Wow.
if you have a favorite. Albert over here. It could be the cubes, the icon cubes.
Icon cubes.
Yeah,
Who's that right there ahead of us? Right here, that one right there near your hand.
that one.
No, this one here.
That's the Buddha.
Oh.
It's a pink Buddha, a shocking pink Buddha. See, the thing is if you get these icon cubes,
Right.
if you want to, I could also put your face on there.
They are so cool, these icon cubes.
You like those?
I love them.
Now see, I could put you and Jason on there. Look at,
You
here's
could
one of
put
my,
anybody
I
in
used to wait on Barbara at Kapalua, Barbara Streisand.
You did?
Yeah,
See, Maui's a great place. You get to do all kinds of
and I used to wait on, where is he? Remember the way we were when Robert
there he
Redford,
is.
there he is, Robert Redford. Used to wait on him at Kapalua too. Really a nice man.
Is it?
I was surprised how small he was though. I shouldn't say that.
No.
Now this is my newest Marilyn. I really like this one.
I love her.
I love this one, and that's,
Isn't she pretty?
I think that, look at how the colors, look at those colors. I mean, it's you.
Oh, yes,
It
darling.
is you. Doesn't she look great with that painting?
She does.
She really does.
I am Marilyn.
Yes. I think all women in a way they're not threatened by Marilyn because she's kind of innocent. And you know
Well,
what I mean?
because
That's
she
funny.
also has that dumb blonde
Yeah,
reputation,
right.
which is not threatening.
Not threatening.
That reputation
No.
is not
No,
threatening.
that's right. They don't want that.
That's, is that the nude
I
from
mean,
the
she
Playboy
wasn't,
thing?
of course.
Yes, that's the one that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I actually have the original photograph in my safety deposit box.
Really?
And it is signed on the back, Norma Jean Baker, and dated 1952, which is a year prior to the
Yeah.
Playboy thing.
Wow.
Well, I have,
I'm glad you like that. Is that your favorite, do you
well, I
think?
have 3 favorites.
Okay, she has 3. I wanted to
I
hear
haven't
them.
narrowed it down
Oh,
yet.
okay.
This is definitely
That's one of them.
What are the other two?
I really like this picture.
Aha!
I love all of the activity in it, which is not really me. I mean, you know,
You
I'm
usually
more
don't
calmer,
like that, right?
But I love all of the activity in this. And it's like, somehow it's like all of the busyness is like Einstein's brain, you know, because his brain was so active.
Exactly.
And
Well,
I really like that.
All of these people, are, of course, are icons of the 21st century. But who was the man of the century? That's why he's there.
In the middle.
And then all of the rest are floating around on.
I like that.
Thank you, thank you. Just
Very
so, I'm sorry, you can't get it. It just got sold today.
Hey.
Well,
Congratulations.
I missed out. And my third favorite
Okay.
Oh, let's go. Third favorite. They're all fun.
is this one.
Well, now, again, you can see where I took that photograph and made a painting from it. But also, these stamps, I have a stamp collection, and most of them are icons, but also I have a Hawaiian stamp collection, and I do plan on doing a whole series of paintings that are Hawaiian, collectible Hawaiian stamps, rare Hawaiian stamps.
I really like this against the stamps.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
terrific.
Thank you very much.
See, 'cause that's why I said I was torn
Yeah.
between the other one
The
and
other one,
this one.
because the other
because
one's delicate.
The other one is beautiful
Very
and
delicate,
delicate,
right.
more airy.
So this
Which I
goes to
like.
show you that ordinarily you don't like this, but you do like it. So
do.
that's really a feather in my cap.
Oh,
I don't-
honey, you got a lot of feathers in your cap.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys. I'm
Thank you.
really glad that we got a little tour because I wanted you to be in this, Ariel, and it's really great because I agree with you. This stuff is terrific. Even if you're, it's like it breaks all traditions and just makes you feel like you like it.
Hey.
Like he was saying, it's not something, this type of art is not something that I usually am attracted to. It's not that I dislike it, it's just that that's
Right.
not where
Well, I've
I
had
go
people
to.
who say ordinarily they don't like modern art or whatever.
Right.
But they say,
But I like
for some
this.
reason
This
I
is
like
great.
your
I
art.
like this,
Hey,
right.
what do you think? In just a few days, I'm going to LA to be with this guy.
Oh, Oscar.
Yeah, because the Academy Awards is going to have a new home on Hollywood Boulevard, and I have painted a special London Fog trench coat with Oscar on the back,
Oh,
and I'm planning on making an appearance. And how would you like to come with me, Ari?
oh, let's go.
Would you like to do that?
Yeah,
Do you think
let's go.
Will Jason let you?
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Okay,
All right.
it's a
When
deal.
do we leave?
I'm leaving on the 23rd. Can you get
Okay.
on that flight?
Well, I don't know, we'll find out.
We'll see what happens. So stay tuned for the
Stay tuned for
continuing
continuing
adventures
saga.
of Davo and Ariel.
That's right.
Sorry, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
And
Aloha.
aloha.
Ha.
When I lived out in the country, I used to dream of money and fame. So me and my girlfriend Margot came out to LA. And while Margot was a waitress and I was a fixing cars, we kept it all together, pretending we were stars. Margot was in the movies and I was singing the rock and roll. We would go out by the highway to a make-believe place called Stardust Road. And we made believe it was spotlights from the cars passing on their way. The roar of the engines was our crowd as we got up on the stage. The trees are full of people calling for us to begin. And we played all night 'cause that highway crowd kept calling us back again. They would stand and call our names out loud and beg us not to leave. And if anyone could see, we gave them a memory to last forever. Well, now Margot is in and my album has just gone gold. The phone's been ringing off the wall, and I can't find time alone. So when Margot's tired of interviews and I can't sing another song, we go back out to the highway, to the place we still call Stardust Road. And we make believe it's spotlights from the cars passing on their way. The roar of the engines was our crowd as we got up on the stage. The trees are full of people calling for us to begin. And we played all night 'cause that highway crowd kept calling us back again. Yes, we do our show on Stardust Road because it keeps us free. And if anyone can see, we give them a memory to last forever. To last forever. To last forever.
Wine stamps.
I really like this against the stamps.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
terrific.
Thank you very much.
See, that's why I said I was torn
Yeah.
between the other one
The
and
other
this
one.
one.
Is the other
because
one's delicate?
The other one is beautiful
Very
and
delicate,
delicate,
right.
more airy.
So this
Which I
goes to
like.
show you that ordinarily you don't like this, but you do like it. So
do?
that's really a feather in my cap.
Oh,
I know.
honey, you got a lot of feathers in your cap.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys. I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad that we got a little tour because I wanted you to be in this, Ariel, and it's really great because I agree with you. This stuff is terrific. Even if you're, you know, it's like it breaks all traditions and just makes you feel like you like it.
It, like he was saying, it's not something, this type of art is not something that I usually am attracted to. It's not that I dislike it, it's just that that's
Right.
not where
Well, I've
I
had
go
people
to.
who say ordinarily they don't like modern art or whatever.
Right.
But they say,
But I like
for some
this.
reason
This
I
is
like
great.
your
I
art.
like this,
Hey,
right.
what do you think? You know, in just a few days I'm going to LA to be with this guy.
Oh, Oscar.
Yeah, because the Academy Awards is going to have a new home on Hollywood Boulevard, and I have painted a special London Fog trench coat with Oscar on the back,
Oh,
and I'm planning on making an appearance. And how would you like to come with me, Ari?
oh, let's go.
Would you like to do that?
Yeah,
Do you think
let's go.
will Jason let you?
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Okay,
All right.
it's a
When
deal.
do we leave?
I'm leaving on the 23rd. Can you
Okay.
get on that flight?
Well, I don't know, we'll find out.
We'll see what happens. So stay tuned for the
Stay tuned for
continuing
continuing
adventures
saga.
of Davo and Ariel.
That's right.
Sorry,
Ta-da.
Jason.
Ta-da.
Thank you, guys.
And
Aloha.
aloha.